Welcome to Rauta's Reviews. Today's band is an interesting one because it's not only one band but three bands. This is three-way split between different bands, one being from Australia and two from Slovakia. So without further ado, this is Midnight Odyssey meeting Igric and Aeon Winds. And one might question, and rightfully so, why these three bands are collaborating, why they are cooperating and creating a split album. What's the link there? Well, this is something I will show you in through Metal Archive's links soon. So let's take a look on this digipack before we go into that. As you can see, nice looking cardboard digipack with kind of a three-folding. And this is curious because this CD version has a different cover image than the LP version, which is here underneath the CD. So if I turn this around, you will find this collaboration track here underneath the CD, which actually has the same image just this way. And all these different pages obviously have the lyrics for different songs, and the backside has the track list. And this is curious. Midnight Odyssey has one track, Igric has two ones, Aeon Winds two ones, and then there's this collaboration track. And this whole thing lasts for a little bit more than 30 minutes, so it's quite compact, but also quite typical for a split release. Let's take a look at those Metal Archives sites, and I say sites because we have quite a few here. So the first one here is this one of Midnight Odyssey from Australia, founded in 2007. The band has quite a few releases already out, and here underneath as the latest one is these split ones. Then we have Igric from Slovakia and also Aeon Winds. Now let's go back to Midnight Odyssey, because now I'll start talking about these links between the bands before talking about the actual music. Now if you click at the members page, we'll see one band member currently, but past members shows you Swarthen also, which again has lots of bands, and one of them being Aeon Winds. Also, if we take a look at Igric, we have one member, but also being part of Aeon Winds, as much as the Dispater, the main member, the only member of Midnight Odyssey now. They both have Aeon Winds links. Now if we go to Aeon Winds, then again, we'll see that this 2007 founded Slovakian band, which is more like a real band versus these two solo projects. These have four current members, one of them being also ex-Midnight Odyssey member. So all of these bands have these kind of ties to each other through previous collaborations, and as such it makes quite a lot of sense for these to come up with this kind of a split release. Now more curious it gets when we take a look at these genre definitions. For example, Aeon Winds says atmospheric black metal / dark ambient. Well, with this album you won't find much dark ambient, but let's just slide off. Here we see with Igric, pagan / ambient black metal. Once again with Midnight Odyssey we see ambient black metal. So the conclusion is this could be labeled as ambient black metal release. But what does it even mean? Let's be honest about it. And none of these songs are exactly pure black metal. I kind of shun away from being this term called ambient black metal, because for me ambient music means usually very kind of unmusic. No melodies, no beats, no drums, no vocals. That is what I prefer for my dark ambient, being really dark and kind of unmusical in the tradition sense of, lacking the patterns of percussion or melodies, riffs if you will. But these guys have created all of their music, that is, it's kind of a synth-filled atmospheric metal. There is a little black metal, but I mean it's mostly about when those kind of shrieky vocals come in, and with some riffs, but it's mostly just kind of atmospheric metal. I mean, none of these riffs really sound like they're made for black metal perspective. Also, there's a lot of clean vocals included, especially with Igric ones. So calling these black metal in the first place can be a little bit misleading. I don't say it's a bad thing, but I mean, for people looking for kind of a black metal in terms of Burzum or summoning or limbonic art and the like, which are here mentioned. If you take a look at the similar artists that you will find known names. You know, Burzum is being mentioned. Obviously, Midnight Odyssey is mentioned under the Igric because they are quite much the same, similar genre. You will have bands like Cold World and so forth. If you take a look at these names under any of these bands, you will try to you will understand what this is pointing at, being this kind of a symphonic black metal. There is even Emperor and Enslave mentioned, even though they are not so near. I would say rather that this Cold World and maybe even more so with Midnight Odyssey's similarities, that is quite much more accurate in my opinion, because you will see bands like Cold War Spectral Lore and Summoning mentioned here, and these are all pretty much of the same genre. But whereas Summoning is purely kind of a more fantasy driven black metal, I mean, there's no denying it's kind of a black metal style. These are even less that, because like I said, the shrieky vocals are not dominating, not even the sound, not the riffs and so forth. This is more about just atmospheric metal, and clean vocals play a big part of that. Also, synths are way more dominating than so many other albums. I mean, if you compare this to Burzum, they really don't sound the same. But this is definitely a release for the fans of synth-driven black metal, or atmospheric black metal, or just atmospheric metal. So it doesn't really matter if you're not that much into black metal, because this is not to scare you off with its extreme metal. To be honest, I don't find this extreme at all. It's kind of a soothing, a little bit melancholic, and in general kind of a backgroundish metal in so many ways. The thing here is, this is not a music that is like going wow with its riffs or keyboard parts. More kind of a soundtrack to, if you're reading, I don't know, fantasy literature or whatever. So kind of a Summoning, but even more away from the traditional black metal output. And it's very likely that if you just happen to like one of these bands, you will like them all. And obviously vice versa. If you don't like one of them, it's very unlikely that you will love all of them or any of them. I'm a little bit divided with this release, because in my opinion Ardorem is very balanced with its music, with the genre included, but then again it's kind of a mediocrity in too many points to be really enjoyable. Not bad by any means, but still quite like work in progress if you ask me. But whether or not it is good music in your opinion, I strongly suggest you to take a look. There's plenty of links in the description box, including all the band links to Metal Archive site, Bandcamp and Facebook, so you click and go for listen some samples. And in case you like it, I strongly recommend getting this nice looking digipack, or maybe LP version, which is I guess even cooler. So take a look and give it a listen. Listen, like Sean Connery would say. Thanks for watching, take care, bye bye.